right? So second module entirely deals with so we are done with the first module and we'll start with the second module, right? Second module entirely deals with present now your entire screen. Right. So second module deals with the current approaches to measuring HR and reporting value from HR contributions, right? Strategic HR metrics versus benchmarking, then HR scorecard, workforce scorecard, and how they are different from HR analytics, right? So we'll be seeing various frameworks here, HR maturity framework from level 1 to level 5. So in that we have LAMP framework, HCM 21 framework, and Talent Shift framework, which are very, very important when it comes to your examination point of view. Then finally, 5 overarching components of an effective analytics framework, right? So coming on to the first one, current approaches to measure HR and reporting value from HR contributions. So if you could see, my dear students, HR must build the ability to measure its value creation on a higher order contribution. So HR has to create the value on higher order contribution. It has to be a strategic partner to the business in the organization, right? So it has to contribute very much for the business strategic decisions, right? So there are many ways and tools for constructing the HR scorecard. So for measuring the HR values, you need to have HR scorecard. So here there are many ways and tools for constructing HR scorecard that reflect and measure the strategic HR contribution. So in other words, HR functions can be determined, HR functions can determine its maturity by the quality of HR scorecard it maintains and the measures. So here, how the HR scorecard is maintained, how data is filled in the HR scorecard, how data is measured in the HR scorecard has a lot of impact on creating value for HR contributions. Now that is very, very important. So you need to have the right scorecard which is required, right? So by redefining its contribution in strategic HRM terms, so HR can assert its value and retain its chair at the strategy table. So now if you could see, HR department is not taken as a department which will be looking into the human resource and welfare of the employees, but it is taken as the business partner, strategic business partner, who will contribute to the strategy of the organization, who will contribute towards achieving the goal, vision, and mission of the organization. So HR is being seen as a business partner in the organization. So when such a high responsibility is given to HR department, it has to also measure its contributions towards the organization, right? And then only it can retain its chair on the strategy table, right? Coming on to next, measuring HR value creation. How can you measure the HR value creation? So here HR builds the ability to measure its value creation on higher order contributions, right? So here for several decades, HR has been measuring things that lend themselves for easy measurement, right? So easily things were measured based on the perception, but now it is not so. You have to measure everything statistically. So understandably, strategic HR contributions is difficult to do, and even more so when it comes to measuring and reporting to the business, right? So here, when it comes to measuring and reporting to the business, the contribution of HR, it is very difficult to showcase the contributions of HR. So there are a lot many changes which are being done. There are a lot many tools which are being introduced to measure the contributions of HR department. Then what exactly the HR measures? Now till now we are speaking about measurement, right? What exactly HR measures? It measures first the efficiency, second effectiveness, and third impact. So these are the three things which the HR measures. When we speak about efficiency, what does it refer to? It refers to the amount of resources used by HR programs. So it may be human resource, it may be financial resource, it may be the technology which is there in the organization, it may be the infrastructure, okay, the land, water, everything, all the resources come into picture. So here, amount of resources used by HR programs, okay. For example, cost per hire, right? Money spent on per hire, and what is the return on investment of that particular expenses or of that particular hire, right? So this is what we say efficiency. How efficient HR programs are can be measured based on the amount of resources used by the HR programs. Then next you have effectiveness. Now when you speak about effectiveness, it refers to the outcomes produced, right? So by the HR activities. So whatever HR activities happen in the organization, what is the outcome of that, right? So here you are spending a lot of amount of money as well as time, right? So everything is spent when it comes to certain HR activities. So what exactly is the output of that activities, such as learning and training programs, etc. If it is really successful and if the production increases, return on investment increases, as well as you meet the business objectives and goals, you can say that HR measures are effective, right? Then finally you have impact. So here impact refers to business or strategic value created by the HR activities such as higher sales, right? So what all impact it has on the growth of the organization, on earning the goodwill of the organization, on earning the market value to the organization, on increasing the sales of the sales of the organization, right? So if that all things are calculated, you can identify whether HR is really having some impact on the organization strategy, in the sense it is really impacting the strategy of the organization, right? So that's what we say, what HR measures. Okay, for example, here if you could see, my dear students, right? So here a small thing, HR measurement approaches, right? In that, if you could see efficiency of HR operations, right? So first you have examples to measure the efficiency of HRM operations: cost per hire, time to fill, training cost, right? Cost per hire, time to fill, training cost, then ratio of HR staff to total employees, right? How many HR staff are there and total employees, the ratio is being calculated, as well as costs per hire, how much amount is being spent on hiring a particular person, right? Time to fill, the gap which is there, right, to fill the vacancy. All these things are measured. And then finally, primary appeal. Okay, if you could see, primary appeal here is explicit cost value calculation. So here you are going to calculate how much you have spent and how much of return on investment you have got. Then logic of cost saving, how much have you saved in the hiring process, right? Which is easy to relate to accounting. Then standardization makes benchmarking comparisons easier. So here, have you really set a benchmark in hiring practices in the industry? All these are primary appeals which gives you a way to measure the HRM operations. Then the second one is the tough questions, right? So here few tough questions are there which are to be answered. Wouldn't outsourcing cut cost even more? So here when we go for hiring, right, any HR department, when it thinks of hiring the employees, first option it thinks of cost cutting, right? Where I can get the best candidates with the very less expenses. That is what basically they look into. So here first question they could ask is, wouldn't outsourcing cut cost even more? Instead of hiring new people, instead of spending time on interviewing or then afterwards selecting, okay, all those things, right, hiring, can I go for outsourcing that particular job, okay, so that I just give the amount for the production which is being done? So that is one question which is being asked. Then do these cost saving come at the price of workforce value? If I go for outsourcing, would it come for the price of workforce value, right? So that is the second question which is to be asked, right? then why should our cost be the same as the other industries? Okay, so here all these are various questions which do arise. Should we go for outsourcing? Should we go for contract employees? Should we go for badli employees? Or should we go for hiring new employees on temporary basis? Should we go for hiring the intern, apprentice? Okay, all these are various questions which the HR answers when thinking of hiring the best employees to the organization. Now, second one here, HR dashboard or HR scorecard, right? So here, if you could see the measurement, examples of measurement of this particular HR dashboard or HR scorecard is how the organization or HR function meet goals of customers, financials, markets, operation, excellence, and learning, right? So as I said, HR dashboard is nothing but it is just showing an entire view of what all calculations you have done. It is just an output, right? So it gives an output to you as to what you have done throughout this particular year. So here, if you could see, have you met the goals of the customers? Have you met the goals of financials? Have you met the goals of market? Have you met the goal of excellence and learning, right? So all these things are being taken into consideration here when we speak about HR dashboard. HR dashboard, a simple example if I give here, when you are driving a car, you will be having a dashboard in front of you, right? So whenever you are driving, when you increase the speed, immediately it will show you that you have increased the speed. When some door is not closed, immediately it will indicate you that door is not closed, seat belt is not worn, right? So it is an indication in the sense whatever actions you are doing, it is going to give the output of that, right? So that is what HR dashboard does, right? Whatever functions the HR performs, what exactly is the output of that particular function is being seen in HR dashboard or HR scorecard, right? So here, if you could see, my dear students, the sorry, right. So the primary appeal here is vast array of HR measures can be categorized. So here, one advantage of this particular HR dashboard is you can categorize the things, right? You can categorize the functions, right? You can divide the functions of HR and then identify and measure what exactly value creation is being done by each function, right? Then balanced scorecard concept is known to the business leaders. We all know what is balanced scorecard. Software allows you to customize the analysis. So everything is customized. Everything is neatly done, neatly planned, neatly prepared, and neatly the output is being displayed. Right? That is a primary appeal to say that HR dashboard or HR scorecard is really perfect in the organization. Now, tough questions which are to be answered here are, can this scorecard prove a connection between people and strategic outcomes, right? So can this scorecard tell me that the people are really learning, the people in the organization are really going for growth mode, the people in the organization have become really competent, and with that the strategy of the organization also is being achieved? Can I build a connection between these two? That is the toughest question which can be answered. Now through the dashboard and everything, I can understand that I have the competent people in my organization, but when they do not perform, automatically you are not going to reach the strategy of the organization. You will not be able to reach the objectives of the organization. Now measuring that becomes very, very difficult when it comes to this particular HR dashboard or HR scorecard. Then which number on drill down are most critical to our success? Which criteria is really critical to the success of strategy of the organization? Which function of HR is really critical for success of the organization? All these are tough questions which are to be answered, right? Then afterwards, coming on to next measurement approach, the HR activity and best practices index, right? So here human capital benchmark and human capital index, these are the two indexes which are being shown here. So here it is nothing but what the HR activities and the best practices which are included in the organization of HR. Right? Human capital benchmark is nothing but benchmark in having the right talent in your organization. Right? So compared to other industries, you have the highest qualified people in your organization, highest competent people in your organization, and that benchmark is to be set. Then human capital index identify what all skill sets, what all who all employees are there in the organization, what all competencies are there of the employees in the organization, right? Then primary appeal here is HR practices are associated with familiar financial outcomes. Obviously, all the HR practices can be judged based on the financial outcomes of the organization, right? Then data from many organizations lend credibility, right? Then suggest there are many best practices. Sorry, it's B practices. It is best practices actually. Okay. Best practices or combinations that generally raise profits and sales. Automatically, when you are having profit and highest sales, creating a market value, then ultimately you can say that your HR practices are the best practices, right? What is now tough questions which are to be understood here is what is the logic connecting these activities with such huge financial effect? Can I connect all the HR activities to the financial gains? Now that is a big question mark. Is it that if HR works well, then only the financials will be improved? Okay, that is one of the question mark which is to be answered, right? Will the practices that worked in other organization necessarily work in ours? When I see other organizations and start working in my organization and think of creating a benchmark, will it really work in my organization? Does having these practices mean they are implemented well? Okay, all these are the big question marks which are to be asked. Now coming on to next, the final one, that is causal chain. Okay, so model link employee attitudes to services behavior to customer responses to profit, right? So here causal chain is nothing but a link between employee attitude, service behavior and the customer response, right? Then if all three are really good, then your causal chain is very good. That means your HR department functioning is effective, efficient and has a lot of impact, right? Then primary appeal here is useful logic linking employee variables to financial outcomes, right? So here useful logic linking, that means suggestions of the employees which do come in, right? Improvements in the employees, improvement in the product, improvement in the sales, which brings in a lot of financial outcomes. Valuable for organizing and analyzing diverse data elements. You can identify where your employees are strong at. You can go for multi-skilling of the employees, right? And you can see to it that you have a strong customer services as well as you have a right service behavior of the employees, right? Then tough question to be answered here is this the best path from talent to profit? Okay, is this really a best path wherein I can go with from talent to profits, right? So is it that I need to improve my employees attitude, then only I can achieve the profits? That is a question mark. How do our HR practices work together to improve the employee attitude? Now as we have seen in our MOB class, anything can be changed, but the attitude, changing of attitude is very difficult, right? Do we have the HR practices which changes the employee attitude? This is the second question mark. Third is what logic can we use to find more connections like this, right? So that is what we could see here, my dear students, right? So this is nothing but measurement approaches which do come in HR. Now all these are, whatever measurement approaches I showed just now, all these are a part of efficiency, effectiveness and impact, right? So coming down to next, in short, if I say measuring HR value creation efficiency. Efficiency speaks about activities and processes. Now when you speak about activities and processes, it is nothing but workforce planning, recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, industrial relation, training, internal mobility, talent management, coaching, downsizing, organization, design. All these are various activities and processes which are there in the HR department, which speaks about the efficiency of the HR department. Now, my HR department is very efficient. Okay, so it has all the competent manpower to see to it that workforce planning is being done very well, to see to it that recruitment and selection is done very well. You have the best recruits among the industry, among the market, right? Employed in your organization, right? All these are the efficiency factors. Now, how can I say my HR is effective? By outcomes, right? So what is the outcome? Employee engagement. Now, when I say an employee is engaged in the organization, It means that employee feels one with the organization. Employee feels that it is his or her organization and work accordingly. Every time they'll be thinking of their growth of the organization and their career growth. When that is there, then we can say that your employee are really engaged. That means they have the passion to work in the organization, right? They are happy working in the organization. That time I can say that employees are engaged. Now that is one best outcome of workforce planning, recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, and industrial relation. If all these three are efficient, you have employee engagement perfectly set in your organization. Then retention, we all know, if the retention ratio is really high, then you can say that your HR is effective, wherein you are really understanding what is the problem of the employees. You are really understanding the industrial relation, that is relation between the employer and the employee and the employee. Okay, as well as you are understanding the needs of the employees and seeing to it that you meet the needs of the employees so that people do not leave your organization, and your retention ratio is, or retention percentage is high. Then absenteeism, sickness should be very low. If that is there, then you can say that your employees are really engaged in their work and they do not remain absent from the work, and you are taking very good care of the welfare of the employees. Performance, obviously performance speaks. Performance is the outcome of training, internal mobility, talent management, coaching, etc. Right? Then workforce cost, right, is the outcome of downsizing. Then talent metrics is the talent metrics is the outcome of organization design. So if you have the right organization design being framed and you fit the right talent in that particular design, you can say that you are effective, right? Now, finally coming down to impact. Now, activities and processes are there. What are outcome it has given, that is there, but how much impact it has created on the strategy of the organization, how much impact it has created on the goodwill of the organization, that is also to be measured. So for that, you need to identify whether it is the HR activities, processes, and outcomes are meeting the objectives of the organization. So for first, you can identify the profit, whether the profits are increasing, whether the market value has increased, whether the market share has increased, whether the turnover has decreased, okay, whether the productivity has increased, quality has increased, customer satisfaction has increased. If all these things are increased, then you can say that your HR department is efficient as well as effective. Okay, as well, the moral values, the HR department has created a very good culture in the organization. My dear students, always I say that this person should fit to the job as well as the person should fit to the culture of the organization. Then only employee can perform well in the organization. Okay. So if person job fit is there and person organization fit is not there, employee will be demotivated, will not be able to perform well in the organization, and there are all chances that employee leaves the organization. If there is person organization fit, that means person has gelled up with the culture, very good, but there is no person job fit, that means you are not matching the right person to the right job. So that time again the satisfaction level will decrease as well as the employee will leave the organization. So it is very important that person, job, and organization, all these three fit with each other, then only your employees will be happy and they work in the organization. For that, you need to have right moral values, right ethics to be followed in the organization. You need to be very fair and legitimate, right? So if that culture is built in the organization, then 100% your HR department is efficient and effective. Now coming down to next, understanding the processes, right? Understanding the HR value chain. So when we speak about understanding HR value chain, we'll look into the HR activities and processes efficiency matrix. So on the left of the chain, we find the HRM activities. These are measured using so-called efficiency matrix. So examples of this efficiency matrix are cost of hire, time to hire, time to fill, learning and development budget, time, training time in days, time since last promotion. All this speaks about efficiency metrics. My dear students, till now we have seen what all we are supposed to measure. Now let us see what exactly is the criteria as well as how can we measure, right? So efficiency, okay, when I say efficiency, what exactly you are going to measure in efficiency, that is called as matrices, right? So here, cost of hire metrics, time to hire metrics, training time in days metrics, time since last promotion metrics, that is called as efficiency metrics, right? So all these matrices measure HR processes and give information about how efficient the HR function is, right? So it does say anything about how well HR is hitting its mark, okay, as well as similarly HR effectiveness. So I like to refer to organization who solely focuses on HR processes level 1 HR organization. The main focus is cost saving. Now please understand here, main focus is cost saving reached by optimizing the efficiency metrics. So what all I have told the metrics, right? When you reach the maximum, optimize everything and then save the cost and give the best to the organization, you can say that HR is effective, efficient. For example, if they can lower the cost of hire while keeping the time to hire metrics stable. So here they are lowering the cost of hire while keeping the time to hire metrics stable. They are more efficient. This immediately shows big weakness of these level 1 HR organizations. They focus on reducing HR cost and thus approach HR as a cost centered instead of focusing on the values that HR adds. Now please understand here. Now one of the organization here, it has focused on reducing the cost of hire, but it has kept time to hire metrics stable. That means time to hire, if I have taken 2 days time to hire a particular person, I'm going to get the best source, that means cheapest source through which I can get the employees. That means I am more cost centered instead of focusing on value that HR adds. So I'm not going to go for superior candidate, but I'll compromise on the competence of the candidates, right? But because I need to want to lower the cost of hire. So in other words, I can say that HR efficiency says nothing about how HR contributes to the business. So HR efficiency is nothing to do about how HR contributes to the business, right? So here HR efficiency says that how HR is contributing towards its own functions, right? Then coming on to next, the outcomes, that is effectiveness metrics, right? So in second category, we observe HRM outcomes. What are those outcomes? Engagement, retention, as I said, right? So these are key KPI, that is key personal indicators of the effectiveness metrics, right? Then coming down to next, understanding the HR value chain, right? So here, all these metrics provide information about how well the workforce is doing. So this involves both HR and line management. For example, a particular example is given here. When engagement is high, HR is more effective than when engagement is low. The same holds true for retention. If it is high, then HR is effective. If it is low, then HR is not effective, right? So for absence, it is when it is low, the HR is effective. When it is high, HR is not effective. So part of HR effectiveness is how well the intended HR practices are executed by the managers, right? So as I said, efficiency are the functions, practices, how well it is being executed and what would be the outcome is being shown in the effectiveness. So HR can do a stellar OB, but with bad managers, employees will be more absent and much more likely to leave the organization. This is the conclusion which I can draw with this particular example. Now coming on to next, so it is important to realize that most of our HR activities are aimed at achieving positive HR outcomes. So here there are certain examples given here. We don't want to spend too much time on bringing in new people. Otherwise, we will lose the best candidates, bringing our quality to higher metrics down. So here, if I say that I don't want to spend too much time on bringing new employees, okay, otherwise we will lose the best candidates. That means I am bringing our quality of higher metrics down. That means I don't want to hire quality people itself, right? Then we are training our people to make them perform better and retain them, right? So this shows me that yes, I am thinking of increasing the quality of higher metrics high. Okay, that means I just want to train my employees and put them on the upper part, and that's a word in a vertical line to their career path. That means promoting them, right? Then we engage in wellness promotion in order to lower absenteeism. So that is what we could say level 2. So HR organizations focus on HRM outcomes. They don't focus on cost saving, but on how they can reach their HR outcome is the cost efficient way, right? By optimizing the cost, they can reach the HR outcomes. Then coming now to next, organizational objectives. I'm sorry, the spelling of objectives is wrong there, right? So here, the last category in organization objectives. So these are strategic goals that the organization is trying to achieve, okay, trying to reach. So example of these metrics are market share, profit margin, market capitalization, customer satisfaction, and customer loyalty. Now this is nothing but, as I showed the diagram, it is just a description of that particular diagram. Now if you could see here, my dear students, in this diagram, so here this is efficiency of HR, and these are the different metrics through which you can measure the efficiency. These are the different metrics through which you can measure the effectiveness. These are the different metrics through which you can understand the impact to the organization. Okay, now coming on to next, the next last metrics, that is outcomes. So here market share, profit margin, market capitalization, customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, all these are metrics. If they are measured, you can understand whether the organization has met the objectives through the HR effectiveness and efficiency or no. So these are kind of outcomes that add value to the business and make the business more viable in the long term. So these are this is at a level 3, that is HR organizations focus on business contributions they make with all their people policies. So these are truly strategic HR functions. So HR is at 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 focuses on reducing the cost, okay, and compromising on the talent. Level 2 speaks about optimizing the cost and giving the best outcome. Level 3 speaks about creating an impact on the goodwill of the organization, right? Adding a value to the business. So certain organizations fall under level 1, certain organizations fall under level 2, certain organizations fall under, or successful organizations to fall under level 3 of HR organizations. Okay, so HR value chain in practice with an example here. Okay, how these different levels of HR organizations think. Say we want to increase learning in the organization. So at level 1, the HR organizations will allocate more learning and development budget to the employees, believing that better trained employees will benefit the organization. That is the level 1 of HR. Level 2 of HR, here organizations will allocate more L&D budget to employees and follow up by checking if these investments pay off. Now here in level 1, it focuses only on the function of the HR, but it is not bothered about the output. But in level 2, it is focusing on the functions as well as it is bothered about the output. That is investments pay off. How much I have spent in learning and development of the employees? Have I got back? Have I got the returns on that particular investment? So they test knowledge retention and check if the investment lead to better individual performance. If not, they will test and change training programs and or training providers in order to optimize the return. That means they want to have the optimized return, right? At level 3, now it is a higher level of HR. So organizations does it in the other way around. So they know that L&D spending was increased because of organizations wanted to become more innovative and more profitable. So these organizations will do all of the above and test how it impacts these two key performance indicators, right? So here they will only be satisfied when there is a positive relationship between L&D spending and key performance indicators. That means it is leading to the profits of the organization. It speaks about the profit of the organization. Okay, I have given the training. Okay, and I have also seen that yes, people are retaining that particular training, they are implementing it at the workplace, but if it is not contributing towards the profit and sales maximization, wealth maximization of the organization, then it is of no use. That is what level 3 says, right? Your HR department is efficient, your HR department is effective, but there is no outcome. Now that should not happen. So level 3 organizations or HR departments see to it that there is an impact to the organization also, right? So level 1 HR organizations, they focus on cost saving. Level 2 HR organizations, they focus on HR results. Level 3 HR organizations, they focus on business results. So here, how they focus on cost saving? Through optimizing the HR efficiency. That is at the operational level. So they'll be at the operational level, still implementing the functions, still doing a trial and error and all those things, right? Level 2 HR organizations, they focus entirely on the results through maximizing HR outcomes. Cost efficiency is secondary. So here they try to bring in maximum outcomes and try to achieve the objectives. So here they go in for tactical, it is called as tactical level. Then level 3 HR organization, it focuses on business result. So here through efficient and effective HR policies. So it is called as at the strategic level. So certain organizations HR department fall under strategic level, certain organization HR department fall under tactical level, as well as next fall under operational level. So here this is also where analytics comes into picture. So HR serves the business and should follow the organizational objectives. All HR outcomes and activities that HR focuses on should lead to the business outcomes. Now when we speak about business outcomes, again here analytics comes into picture because everything is to be measured. Now how can you measure it? Through certain tools, okay, which analytics gives, right? So analytics is a great tool to measure effectiveness of HR interventions aimed at reaching these business outcomes. So this relates to which show the value of that of the HR department or the HR practices to the organization. So in this case, by hiring the right people and training them on the organization behavior. So here this kind of tangible analytics evidence connects what we do in HR to tangible financial business outcomes. Obviously, when you are doing something in HR, when you're improving something in HR, obviously your financial improves as well as your business improves, right? So that's what we say, which adds value to the HR department. Then measuring HR value creation. There are ways and tools for constructing an HR scorecard that reflect and measure strategic HR contribution. So in other words, HR functions can determine its maturity by quality of HR scorecard it maintains and the measures, right? So in the next class, we'll be looking into how the evaluation is being done, right? Till here, my dear students, is there any doubt? If you have any doubt, please unmute yourself and ask questions. I find very less number of students here, right? So I require full attendance from the next class, please. Because this subject is, if you miss one class in middle, you will not be able to understand the subject. Right? If you have any doubts, please unmute yourself and you can ask questions. Pooja Kusannavar, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Till here, whatever I have explained, have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Anisa Pathan? Anisa Pathan, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, Anisa?
No, ma'am. Nothing.
Is this subject very difficult to understand?
No, ma'am.
You are understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Manjita? Manjita, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, dear. Is it really difficult to understand the subject or are you
No, ma'am.
understanding?
Understanding, ma'am.
Okay. Anywhere you need improvement in my lecture method here? Any improvements required? Sandra? Sandra, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Sandra, any improvements required? Anything you
No,
want?
ma'am. It's fine,
Anything,
ma'am.
it's everything is okay?
Yeah, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am.
Okay, great. My dear students, any doubts you are having about the subject, maybe now or later, you can message me on my WhatsApp number, right? I'll be explaining you 100 times, no issues, but I want you all to perfectly understand the subject, okay? Not for the exam point of view, but basically for your future. Is it clear? Right. Right, let me stop here, right? So next we'll be taking the next sessions for the remaining part of how evaluation is being done, how we can go for measuring the HR matrices, right? So there certain theories do come into picture like HCM 21, right? So those theories are very, very important when it comes for your examination point of view. 100% these questions will appear in your internals as well as your final examination. So please be very attentive for those theories, right? Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you.